It's just about having them bars, you know. Letting people hear you. 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 Letting people hear you.
They say the feeling is lost, and I agree with that. Travel back to the essence so I can bring it back. They say the feeling is lost, and I agree with that. Travel back to the essence so I could. School's back, hit addiction in my speech. The cool's back, no mention of a breeze. Now fall back as I crispin up my leaves, that's right. I said crispin up my leaves because we only grow with the burn it. I see you girl, she only grow with the permit. Chemicals help it lay so flatly. It fall out, more room for the yaki. It fall out, more room for the yaki. It fall out, more room for the yaki.
This might be going nowhere. The podcast. It's a ting. We are back. Back and better than ever we were an episode ago.
Say what?
I don't know, it sounded better when I was going to hit y'all with that. But yes, This Might Be Going Nowhere, the podcast, episode 2. The first episode, we discussed Jay-Z's album a lot. Shout out to Maxine. If y'all were wondering who I shouted out in the first podcast, it's Maxine, the MacBook. Everything has names. Tamara, the camera, a.k.a. Tammy. I Piteous, the iPad. Fiona, the 40. She holds me down when I'm on the road. We got names for everything. But, so shout out to everyone who tuned in for the podcast, which I'm dumb excited about already. Just people just subscribing to something they never heard. And the first episode is like an hour. I'm not sure if it's going to be longer or shorter. I'm thinking shorter. Y'all appreciate things that aren't so time consuming now. Everything's on the go. So I'm going to try to cut it down, try to keep it between 30 and 47 minutes. I'm going to try to cut it down, try to keep it between 30 and 47 minutes.
Really, nigga?
But it just depends on where it takes me. You know, if not, save it, come back to it, listen to it some more. You know what I mean? But shout out to everyone who's listening to the podcast. So today's episode is called Stream Life.
Say what?
I wanted to talk about it just seems like the overwhelming effect that streaming has had on how we not only just find entertainment and enjoy entertainment, but how we go about purchasing it. And I want to talk a little bit on that. I'm going to touch on that in a little bit. We got some other hot take items to discuss, I guess. I'm in the studio this Sunday. My apologies. Shout out to Central 8. Yes, shout outs are officially present. And yes, shout out to Matt the Mind at Central 8. Yeah. We are working on Feed the People. I've added another song to it. I promise I'm not adding no more songs to it. But I feel like this song helped shape and give the colors that may have been missing from the project. I feel like this helped. And shout out to Flash G. He was one of the ones who we was smoking and discussing music and projects, and we were discussing each other's projects, and he was telling me, he thinks of the music as colors, and, you relate. And I was like, yeah, I kind of, I see it like that. I think of bright colors and, fall colors and seasons. We were talking, so shout out to Flash G for that combo. But, I think it helped add another color that was missing. So I'll be in the studio working hard. I'm going to try to get as much of it done as possible so I can get Feed the People and the Golden Air out, my Bastard Child project. But it's fire. Golden Air is fire. So we'll get that out to you too. So we're going to talk about Stream Life. I also want to talk about the story of Chris Brown, because he's one of my favorite artists, of my generation, as being a young man listening to music. We had high expectations of Chris Brown, and I just, he's still the homie. So we'll get into it. We'll get into that. The news will start on a slightly more, I can say, somber note, but just a disturbing note would be probably more accurate. And North Korea, now again, all the information is still coming in new, and to me, I don't want to be incorrect or inaccurate in anything that I'm saying, but from my understanding on what's going on, North Korea, the prime minister, president over there, ordered a missile strike or missile test, whatever they're going to try to disguise it as.
You suck!
And they sent it this way, and they actually hit Alaska. Now, it's a couple of things that I want to touch on with this. I'm not going to go too in-depth to it because this is not a news and media show or political show. But there's a couple points I want to break off of. First, why have I not heard more of this in the urban news? So, a lot of my news is hip-hop based, everything from, the Breakfast Club to Complex to Fader, Hip Hop is Real, Combat Jack Show, just a lot of different outlets that are urban that I use, Hip Hop DX, all hip hop. And I know that this has nothing to do with music, but if the country was attacked in any way, shape, or form, it should be something that breaks all news cycles. And I get Jay-Z's album's out. It's amazing. It's a lot of garbage Kardashian news that's out and stuff like that. But my thing is, if our country was attacked or semi-attacked or whatever the case may be, I think that that's something that we should all be aware of. It doesn't matter if you're 8 or you're 80. I think it's up to them to be responsible to say, hey, let's at least put this information out here. So Complex and, everyone else will use Complex right now because they're so big, they're gaining popularity. Shame on you guys, because you guys do a lot of stories, and that's fuck shit that y'all can give us stories on the Kanye West Jay-Z feud and, fucking what Playboy Cardi is doing, whatever the fuck y'all are running stories on, but not talk about, our national security, at least in a moment. There's a couple of other things that I wanted to touch on as far as that's concerned. Okay, so the first thing is, I don't think this shit ever would have happened under President Barack Obama's watch. I think if he was the president, this would not have happened.
Not up in here!
I think the issues were escalating between us and North Korea to the point that if President Barack Obama knew he was going to be in office, let's say another 4 years, and we were blessed, he probably would have already started to do some aggressive military action or, reaching out to NATO or the powers that be earlier to make sure it's handled. So shame on the administration, the Trump administration as well. Let's go ahead and get some jeers to them just for allowing this to go this far. Like this shouldn't have went this far, and I'm just disappointed with our government right now, especially when he stood on such a platform to be for security. It just seems like fuck shit. I would like to see us move swift but smart. You know what I mean? We have to. It seems like we probably should get South Korea involved. They don't fuck with North Korea. They're an ally of ours. And I think that would, it would be a good way to start getting some military action to kind of quiet or resolve this. I see they've given them ultimatums. Oh, and side note. So before I go into my second topic on some political shit just for a moment, it said that Donald Trump, let's just talk about Donald Trump because that's my second topic. What is the over-under y'all are giving Donald Trump for being the president? I'm going to say, like I say, I like to pretend that he's not the president. Barack Obama's just on an extended vacation, and this is what we have to deal with right now. But on a serious note, everything about him makes me, if he was black, we would be saying, everything he says, everything that comes out of Donald Trump's mouth, I just feel like, really. And then when he says some of the idiotic shit that he says with certainty, he just says it with so much confidence and stubbornness, I just really be like, no. I I can't stand him. Okay, if I gave it an over and under, I would have to say I feel like he's going to be a president till maybe July of 2018. So I give him, and I know we're in July now, so it's like a year. But I'm also including his January. So if you would ask me then, I would have said summer of next year. I don't know if it's going to be impeachment or I don't know if it's going to be him stepping down because the job is too difficult. But whatever it is, we'll be better off for it. But what I thought was funny was he's meeting with Putin. And for those of you guys who don't know who that is, he is the prime minister, I believe, of Russia. If I'm wrong on this, I'm going to definitely hit myself with one of those effects. But I believe he is the prime minister of Russia. But he's meeting with Putin to see what they could discuss and possibly working together. And I had tweeted, I thought it was hilarious. Like, nigga, I thought y'all was already working together when they got you in office. So why are we acting like this would be so difficult for the work to continue? You got to get that bag dropped off. You know, he's liquidating casinos and shit, making sure he's getting these bags right for Russia. So fuck Donald Trump. Okay. In other news, a little lighter, I guess, I wanted to talk about the Webby domestic abuse shit. Now, here's my thing on the Webby domestic abuse shit. It seems like more and more I'm hearing of niggas catching domestic abuse charges. You're not kings when you're catching this. You're a nigga. So let's be clear on that. I just... We've heard, of course, we got the Ray Rices and all the NFL players. And, it stems back as far as Chris Brown, as far as the internet's reaction to it. But I think that, and we'll be discussing him as well. And shout out to Chris Brown. He made it past through all that shit. I hate using him as a marker. But I'm thinking about when the first time I can remember the internet really having a huge say-so on it. But it's just too commonplace. New artists, a lot of these new niggas, a couple of rappers, I can't think. One of them was left out of XXL for the domestic abuse shit. And his response to it was, we've made up, that's my girl now.
Shut your fucking mouth! No problem, John. Shut the fuck up, you cunt!
Well, it just means that she's ignorant too. We made up now, so everything should be right as rain. Fuck that. You know what I'm saying? I don't get down with anybody who puts their hands on a woman. Trust me. You know what I mean? I've been in enough situations, past relationships, even presently, that I just could say, thinking about, man, there's times I've wanted to put my hands on this person. But I would never do that just because it's hard. I find it very difficult to find a place in my heart that would allow me to put my hands on somebody who I love, or somebody who mothered my children, or somebody who I care a great deal about that I know will be defenseless against me for the most part if I attack them. It just seems like some cowardly shit. So it's not something that I look at like drinking. It's not something I look like you got addiction to a drug. I think it's something that your morals, your sense of right and wrong as a man is off. When you find that okay, and there's no excuse for that. I don't care if you were beaten as a kid. It's just wrong. It feels wrong, even when watching it, you know what I mean? Viscerally, that feels wrong. So going back to Webby, I know that they said reports was he was holding her against her will and had, some of his niggas stand in front of the door in case she tried to leave. And
say what?
Was hitting her with a belt in his fist. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? You a grown-ass man doing this to somebody who you supposedly care about. Now, also, there's reports of not only, weed use, which is cool, but cocaine use.
To infinity and beyond!
I don't fuck with cocaine at all. Not ever I don't fuck with cocaine. So I don't know what the effects of it is that could have you, I know it could be an upper, I don't know what the effects of it is, but anytime a nigga is using cocaine and it's a report like this, usually their career is not doing very well. And if you can all think back for a second, when was the last Webby hit? No. Even better than that. When was the last Webby hit that was solo without Bootsy? I'm gonna wait. Okay, we don't have anything. I don't need to wait any longer. But I think that when Bootsy got out and he started hitting his run and didn't include Webby with him, that was telling. That was one of the things. When they weren't making music as much and CDs together, that was another telling sign. He's not really doing interviews and stuff with him and bringing him along with him. That's another telling thing to me because Boosie is somebody who I would imagine Webby holds in high regards and vice versa. So it just lets me know, or it gives, the impression that everything's not right with this nigga. And, and him being arrested for this and, being treated for some illness. I don't know what he's being treated for at the hospital. I just know right now, Webby, you have a lot of clown juice on you. And also, let me go ahead and hit you with the...
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Yes, you have fucked up, my guy. So that's pretty much all on that. Okay, something else I want to talk about. Lil Wayne's issues with Birdman hand rub, But we've made light of this. I know DJ Academics, he's made light of this situation. And, there seems to be sort of a lack of empathy for Wayne, and it could be, rightfully so, because you know what I want to point out? This is what bothers me. I study rap culture just as becoming a new artist and so forth. I've studied the culture. Oh, and since I didn't tag myself, I am, again, Peoples 330, people with a Z 330, all one word. You can Google me. I am an Ohio artist from Akron, Ohio, of course. But, I make dope music, so you can Google me. Google the entire team, BAM 330. Shout out to the entire team. I love all of y'all. You know what I mean? Shout out to Demetrius right now. He going through his shit, but, we'll be squared away with Demetrius, and making sure he's good here just shortly. We'll even have him on a podcast. But, shout out to the entire team. But, I just want to plug myself real quick as well. But just being an artist, I studied this and seeing what's happened with him. This is what I wanted to point out because I get sidetracked off the cookie. Here's what I want to point out. Wayne has had numerous opportunities to sever ties with Cash Money and Universal and Birdman. And I wanted to just, if one that we all know, there was a time where Wayne was thinking about joining Roc Nation and joining Jay-Z. Now, because of, I can't remember right now. I want to say it's when Jay-Z had left Def Jam and was with just Roc Nation. But if we went back to, I think that was around the Carter 3, before the Carter 3, I think he passed on that. And he had Fire Music and Young Money and all of that. But even if the music was great, we all knew the business. We can look at all of the old hot boys, from Turk to BG to Juvenile, Manny Fresh, all of them, anybody who's been close and had dealings with Birdman. I could even go further back than that. TQ, Missy, all of them labels, all of the artists that they signed that didn't have a project, nothing ended up coming out. They even had fucking Paris Hilton signed to them.
Gay!
And nothing ever came up to it, or they got jerked and they not paying producers or so forth and so on. So it seems like it's just a lack of empathy because Wayne is so successful, and we imagine the amount of wealth he's already occurred. But he's suing this man for $40 million. So it's a lot of wealth. And I think that's probably on the light side of what he really is worth and what he's contributed to Universal and Cash Money. But, I mean, we just got to see how it plays out. Hold your head up, Wayne. You've given a lot to this culture and the hip-hop, and we appreciate you for it. But, so what else did I want to talk about? Well, I think that pretty much does it for news. Local news. on the AKRON side, we got to do something about this fucking construction. It's ridiculous. And I mean, city council meetings are at Monday or on Monday. I believe it's after 6 p.m. City council meetings again are on Monday. They are around 6 and 7 p.m. Again, city council meetings are Monday between 6 and 7 p.m., I believe. They could start as early as 5. I'm pretty sure it's 6, 7. It's just, we need to get out there and talk about it because it's bad. You know, it's a lot of dealings going on with contracts being given out to different companies. And I believe it's just they're not doing things in the best interest of us to make sure we can navigate to where we need to go to. So we need to get the construction fixed. All right, so topics I wanted to discuss. First topic I wanted to talk about was music we still need in 2017. So we've gotten a bunch of new music from some dope MCs, some new artists. Just to name a few, we got Big Sean's offering, we got J. Cole's offering, we got Drake's offering, we got Kendrick's offering, we got Royce the 5'9" dropped a project, we got Joey Badass dropped a project, we got 2 Chainz dropped a phenomenal project, we got Rick Ross who dropped a dope ass project. I could keep going on and on. Jay-Z, of course, has just dropped a phenomenal, earth-shattering project. We got newer artists like Black. He dropped a project. If you're into the Little Yachty's, he dropped a project. A lot of people have dropped dope music lately. I don't want to forget anybody right now. Meek Mill has been dropping music. It's a lot. It's a lot of music that's out, but there's a lot of music that we're still waiting for. And I want to touch on some of the artists who I feel like I'm still waiting on. And this is the part where you guys can leave comments in and tell me who you're waiting for.
Say what?
Okay. So first of all, off the top, Nas has an album coming out. Y'all know that's my favorite. I'm not going to dive too much into that. You can listen to the first episode and understand how I feel about King Nas. But Nas has an album coming out. Super excited. The only thing I ever worry about with the Nas album is the production. That's the same thing I worry about with all the greats. Jay-Z, Eminem, Scarface. You can name them. I always worry about the production as being Lupe, Common. You can name a bunch of them. I only worry about the production. You're in a good space. And Nas, I only worry about the production. But if that's fire and he's working with DJ Khaled or other people who are going to kind of A&R at least the sound aspect of it, I'm all for that. But definitely excited for him. Pusha T. He has an album coming out. I'm excited for Pusha T's album. He's been talking about this album for a while. I'm expecting it more around the beginning of fall or end of fall, sometime around then. I don't think he's going to probably come out this summer. He might roll out a couple of singles. But yeah, definitely waiting for his project. Another project that is supposed to be coming out is Kanye West. I already mentioned that in the podcast. Don't know how excited I am about that. The Jay-Z adds a little layer to it. He may be more inspired just because of the energy that's going on between them two. But not super excited about that. The Lox, I believe they should have another project coming out. I love their the Filthy America, I believe it is, project. But I'd like another project from them. Who else? Meek Mill. He's coming any moment, pause, with a new project. I'm definitely excited about that. I would like to hear that. Prince is supposed to be coming out with some unreleased music this year. I'd love to hear that. It's other artists that I'm thinking about right now. Off the top of my head, I can't think about, but those are some projects. Common, I like to see a project from him. Lupe always feeds us great music, but I never would get tired of hearing a Lupe project. I really would like Andre 3000 to take over the winter. It would be dope if Andre 3000 would drop an album, around October, November, and just surprise us with good music. I'd love to hear that. So that's a dope album. Rick Ross is supposed to be coming out with another album. It wouldn't shock me if he came out with something during the winter time. Speaking of MMG or that vein, Styley should be coming out with something soon. I kind of get those waves from him. Let's talk about the story of Chris Brown for a moment. Chris Brown, when he first came out with Run It with Joel Santana, he was thought to be probably he was going to be our version of Michael Jackson. People put him in that high of regard.
Shut your fucking mouth!
And I'm not mad at that. His talent, his vocal ability, his ability to dance, his ability to write, create music the combination exceeds anything else that we even still today have. Even when Chris Brown does a layup, it has the impact of a dunk. And it's because not only his writing is good, but how he delivers the music, his voice, how he uses a lot of his inflections and his runs and shit. It's just great. It feels like what we would expect an R&B artist of our generation to sound like. But he went through the domestic violence case and assault on Rihanna. We understand all of the meltdowns, TV shows, radio stations, the court appearances that he's had, the time in jail he's had. But to come full swing around, he's also, we know about the relationship with Karrueche or Karate or Karimi, whatever her name is, that we know about that. We know about him having the daughter on her, and her still sticking by. We know about his beautiful daughter, Royalty, and a lot of the good music he's put out. And that's just in a nutshell some of the things that he's went through and still fighting a lot of those perception issues based upon his previous actions, But I've seen a lot of growth in him. Chris Brown is an amazingly talented person. I can't stress that enough. And I think that a lot of the things that he's done, a lot of the choices he's made, and even how the media portrays him has moved him out of that category of the second coming of Michael Jackson. But I do believe that in his own right, even right now, there's not a single R&B artist or whatever category you want to put him in, that's fucking with him. I don't care if you bring up Bryson Tiller, you could bring up even Trey Songz, you can bring up Neo, Miguel, Ro James, you can bring up the Marios of the world, Jeremiah's, so all of the good songwriters, good singers. You can bring up the dancers, and Omarion and them. None of them have the full, all the way put together package, pause, that he has. Like, it's just amazing how much talent he dabbles in the acting, but he has a good energy. He's a fun person, it seems like, to be around, and he's crazy talented. I say him often in Jamie Foxx, where, and I want to be that type of artist, somebody who, who raps, who writes well, creates shows. These are the things I'm doing now, edits videos and, has an eye for different types of art and things like that. I want to be a Renaissance man is the word I was looking for. And I like to be, put in that same type of regard Chris Brown is in. Saying that, I say all of that to say this. Somebody really needs to be in his corner. And it's been said for years, but he needs to have somebody who he both respects and slightly fears. I don't know who that person would be, but maybe the level of admiration, he really be worried about some of the dumbass decisions he makes, and I just think that when you think about how good he is as an artist, you would hate that to see wasted one day. Lord forbid something was to happen to him. They always talk about how he's on drugs and Molly and disgruntled employees, whether it's true or not. Just, I don't like those allegations of, heavy drug use and shit like that, because you don't want to see that, or arrest, or just a fall off take him to maybe he could end up being one of the greatest hip hop or R&B stories that we've ever had. I do think that he needs to get some production from Michael Bivins or Babyface and R. Kelly, just to have an album produced to, and then also bringing new producers to give it that real 90s, 2000s mesh of sound that, we kind of are craving from him. But shout out to Chris Brown. I'm excited to hear what the album is going to hold. Another thing I want to talk about briefly, award shows. Have they lost their luster? And what I mean by that, for my niggas who are, what is that you using in big ass word and Scrabble word? I'm not using Scrabble words, King. Luster, shine, appeal is that's how I'm using it right now. It just doesn't. The BET Awards, I completely missed them. I didn't download them off the, I didn't. Shout out to academics. I didn't trap out the bandwidth and get the episode and airplay it, watch it, whatever. I didn't do none of that. You know what I mean? I really just watched a couple of the feeds. I didn't even see the performances. But I could say the same thing. I don't even remember when the MTV Awards came on. We had the BET Hip Hop Awards or whatever. But it just seems like award shows in general don't have the same appeal. Here's why I believe that is. I believe it's because we are moving away from television. And I think that we're starting to pull away from those traditional things that you would watch TV specifically on. Sports, you can stream it on YouTube. You can watch it in the apps, the ESPN apps and the Fox apps. So we're no longer tied to the TV for sports events. I think award shows is really the last thing that's tying us because we even getting our news from other places. So if it's not original content shows like a Power Show on Stars, I don't think that we care as much. And I think award shows, they have to find a way to, sync on the internet so it's running real time with the television. But yeah, I don't know. Y'all tell me. Do y'all think the award shows are still as hot as you remember when we were younger? Is it because we're getting older, or is it just because in the times we are, nobody's sitting 2.5 hours with commercials and watching award shows? I don't know. Y'all let me know. Another thing I wanted to talk about. Dave Chappelle. And the reason why I wanted to bring this up, we're going to have probably a full podcast. Maybe not a full podcast, but a great deal talking in depth about who the funniest people in the world are. And I mean breathing when I say this. So, to all my pops generation, all you old heads out there, we're not talking about Richard Pryor, okay? We get it. He's the GOAT. I'm not going to ever deny that. But we're not even going as far as talking about Eddie Murphy, because we'd have to remove him from this conversation, not just off of legend and GOAT status or whatever, but also because he's not that active. So if we want to talk about breathing active comedians, I could go ahead and give you all my top 5. I'll have some other people around, some guests on the show, and we'll talk about it in more depth. But my top 5 breathing right now, and this is not just, hey, this is somebody who does a couple shows at Caroline's and an Improv, and they're hilarious. No, I'm talking about people who are doing it on a very high level. So I would have to say, I don't want to order these yet, but y'all can know that Dave Chappelle is the number 1. And we could even go as far to say, right now, let's be honest, Chris Rock is the number 2. Those are 2 people, if they dropped a special on, let's say, Netflix, it would break Netflix. Not just black people ordering it, it would just break Netflix, period. So I got Dave Chappelle 1. I got Chris Rock 2. Now, if I had to be fair, I would probably say Kevin Hart, just based off of impact. But if I'm going off of who I think is the funniest, this list. Okay, first let me do it like this, because I know I'm confusing niggas, and I don't want y'all to be confused. If I had to break it down, I would do top 5 2 ways. I would do my hottest top 5, who I think is doing the best, and then I will also do my funniest. But I don't want to talk about top right now because I don't have all of the numbers, and I don't want to sound incorrect if I'm saying stuff and y'all kill me later on it. But if I had to say the funniest to me, and that's also adding top somewhere in their pause, that's always adding like how large they are as far as their audience, pausing it, their commercial success. But I would go Dave Chappelle. I would go Chris Rock. I would go Kevin Hart. Paul Mooney. Whew, that's fifth spot. I'm sorry. Let me do that again. I would go Dave Chappelle. I would go. Hold on, y'all. All right, if I had to list them in order of funniest, I would go Dave Chappelle. I would go Mike Epps. I would go Chris Rock. I would go Kevin Hart. And then I would go Paul Mooney. Now, I could probably flip Chris Rock and Kevin Hart depending on what specials I was talking about. But as far as funniest, but as far as like who's great, oh man, you got to put Chris Rock above him because Chris Rock also gives you so much social awareness and hot button topics that Kevin won't touch, and they're still funny as shit. So I would keep my list right now as Dave Chappelle. Now, who I think's the hottest, I would say Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, Kevin Hart are close. I would probably go Kevin Hart. So I go Dave Chappelle, Kevin Hart, Chris Rock. We might have to start putting that Noah nigga in there because he's up there. But no, I'd go Mike Epps, and then I don't know. I mean, I guess I would probably throw in. Oh man, I want to say D-Ray because that's my nigga. Shout out D-Ray. We're gonna go D-Ray 5, but. Yeah, as far as comedians, who are y'all's? Y'all tell me who y'all have. But Dave Chappelle, he has what I say to be the three things that make comedians funny. How he looks. Dave Chappelle's an ugly nigga. He knows that. But as long as his wife loves it, that's all that matters. And them whores that he's paying discounted prices for with his celebrity appeal. Also, aside from him looking funny, he can say funny things without it being over the top. Like, he doesn't have to act out funny if he doesn't want to. He can say things in a tone that is hilarious instantly. His tone is also on key. So he has appearance, he has tone, and then he has message. He also delivers these ways to educate you and make you go, damn, that's crazy, as well as that's funny as shit. So he has all three of them. And most of the greats have those, but just not to the degree of Dave Chappelle. So that's funny here. Music reviews. We'll do these kind of quick. Mickey and Music 2. I don't like it as much as the first one. If I'm going to have to be completely honest, I'm not feeling it as much as the first Mickey and Music. And overall, it's not as great. However, this is what I'll say. It's not terrible. It's not bad. It's just not great. It's cool. But there is a song on there that I find is great. It's dope. It's got a lot of potential. And we'll get to that in a moment. If I had to break it down, Meek Mill's album, or Meek and his newest project, let me think about some things. I'm gonna have my notes together like I normally do. Okay. So if I had to review Meek Mill's project, Meek and Music 2, I would have to be completely honest with you guys. Thank you, Maxine. Not feeling it super tough. Sorry to bust you niggas bubbles, but it's not as good as Meek and Music 1. And I had Young Thug on it, who y'all know I don't really rock with. But Meek and Music 2 It had Save Me. It opens up with that. It's about 16 minutes long. Save Me, it's an auto-tune joint. He speaks on Nikki, his son, jail, the probation restrictions, his enemies. He's heavy auto-tune, has a little hook. He's kind of doing like a melodic sing too. I like that he's stepping out of his box, but I don't know the follow through. What was the way it was actually executed? I'm not the biggest fan of that. I do like the content. Even the beat's not bad. You know what I mean? It's cool, but I just wasn't necessarily fucking with that all like that. Young Nigga's Dream. It's cool. Again, cool. Not one of my favorite Meek songs. It has an airy type beat. It has YFN Lucci in it. Wasn't super impressed with him. He sounds like a lot of the other melodic rappers. I don't know. It's okay. He speaks about, Meek shit, beefing, balling, dreams coming true. But it wasn't, like I said, Young Nigga's Dreams. It just was not my favorite Meek song. It was cool. Okay, now we get into songs that I kind of am liking. Organized Chaos. Dope name. It's up tempo. It got kind of a chime and a snare in it. That Meek Mill flow where he's, he just in his bag. Like I like that. It's back on this song. The other two, got kind of different feel to them, but this is just fire. The hook is very aggressive. The hook, I think, is what stopped this from being like super lit. It was okay. It has a new artist. I don't know if it's his artist or whatever, but his name is Ears. It's cool. He sounds a little British, like British, Philly, DC. I don't know how to explain it. It's okay. Now, what saved this project from me saying, Meek, you could have kept all of that shit, or I hope none of it's on the album, aside from Organized Chaos, like I said, that's cool. That's a song I could be in a mood for on Wins and Losses, which is his album that's coming out. But Bag Talk, fire. Again, Bag Talk, fire. Shout out Meek for that. I really like this. It's one of them building energy type songs, kind of in the vein of his intro. The sound effects are dope. He's definitely in his motherfucking bag on this. The beat has kind of an eerie feel to it. It is definitely by far my favorite song out of the four from Meeky and Music 2. So shout out Meek for that. Wale, I was going to do a review for his. I don't want to do anything too crazy because I'm going to probably get more in depth, but I was listening to a lot today. We didn't do anything with it. I just want to say this low key might be his second best album. I mean, behind Attention Deficit, this is just up there. I like it because Wale is such a dark person. Melodically, a lot of times when I think about the production choices and stuff, and sometimes even lyrically, to hear him do a brighter sounding album, we can tell by the colors of it, with the globe, his daughter's hand and everything. It's a brighter album, and with his natural, darker kind of disposition, it balances very well because it brings him up to that level where you bouncing around with songs like Fine Girl, one of my favorite fucking songs. After the podcast, on the drive to the crib, I might actually listen to that because that's just fire. The CC, the cocaine joint on there with the Brick Talk, that's dope. Well, I can't. I don't want to do it. I don't want to. You on fire, baby? I can't. I can't think of it right now.
What the fuck was that?
But that's a fire song. The joint with Logic. Is it Logic? I don't know. No, G-Eazy. Oh my gosh, that song is fire. The African type song that he has, that he's kind of sitting on it, we know that's a single. That's fire as well. The intro, also fire. This has a solid 8 songs that I'll listen to when I listen to the album with no problem. So this is definitely, like I said, it's a great project. This is up there with, to me, as we're talking about offerings, this is up there with More Life. This is up there with Kendrick's Damn, Big Sean. I mean, not maybe Kendrick's Damn in the eyes of the others, but with me, it's up there. I actually think Wale's album's better than Big Sean's album. Just keeping it a buck. And Eminem is on Big Sean's album. I fuck with Big Sean's album, but this is by far one of Wale's best albums. I wish it was not so slept on. Jay-Z's platinum. Shout out Hove. He's platinum. We do know also like Magna Carta, there was some buying of some albums with Sprint and shit. So, I don't know if that's off of this. But, I mean, we're doing it off of streams anyway, so who cares? Just shout out to Ho. It deserves to be a platinum album. It's fire. And you niggas do need to stop with the money phone. And he dropped jewels all over this album. And it's woken everyone up. It's waking everyone up. And I like that. So, there we go. All right, so let's talk TV and flicks section that I like to talk on the show. Of course, Power second episode. Watched it. Amazing. He planted the gun. I don't know. The planted gun scene, it just was a little bit too perfect. It didn't require I would have really liked if they would have came back on a second sweep and found it. It would have felt more believable. But shit's not looking good for Ghost and them niggas right now. I'm not gonna lie. They're doing a great job of painting despair right now. Because, I mean, Kanan is with his son. He's in prison. Tommy is potentially gonna have some issues with the number 2 that he's appointed. He's running around reckless, even though they're looking to pin him up too, running over niggas with their own car. He's doing a lot. The scene where he is fucking Lala. For Mello to be going through what Mello's going through right now, I know that is not the easiest scene in the world. I know he's probably glad that it was up against the counter or whatever. It wasn't full on. But man, that's having Tommy fuck your girl on Stars while y'all going through something is probably not something that's DVR'd at the house waiting to be queued up. I'm actually rooting for them, even though I've loved Lala before Carmelo was famous. I've always loved her, but I wish them the best. But yeah, so I still think that the one dude who's playing both sides right now, just running the club, I think he still will be one of the first people killed. The Asian dude, one of them is going to be killed by, I think, the white dude who really killed Angela's boyfriend. I can't think of his name right now, but her partner or whatever. I think that he's going to end up killing somebody else. But very good. I'm intrigued. I can't wait. Episode 3. I watched that, and then we'll discuss that on the next episode. A couple shows to check out. My father had told me about a show. My father just told me about a show. It's called Snowfall on FX. It's talking about, when the Coke wave came and everything like that. So check that out. It's also another show, Claws. Not something normally I would watch, but it is actually all right. And I would knock off the old black chick that's on the show. Oh my God, I would knock her off still. She just looks like she'd be down for absolutely anything. But yeah, so that's the TV show portion of it. Also, I can't wait for Marvel to start bringing back. I want to see Daredevil. We're all ready for Bulletproof nigga. What's his name? One of my favorite right now. Luke Cage. Couldn't come to me right now. Sorry, blame the cookie. But yes. Now, as far as flicks are concerned, I don't really have any movies to review right now. But there is something I want to talk about. And this is something also you guys comment on. Leave a message. Let me know what you think. Bad Boys 3, anyone? What the fuck? I am ready for Bad Boys 3 to come out. If I could pick one movie above the Friday sequel that's detoxed and all of that shit, and Baby Boy and Another Boys in the Hood, if I could pick a sequel outside of Matrix, it's definitely going to be Bad Boys 3. Bad Boys 3 is on the top of the list. And I said it would be dope if they brought them back. They did Bad Boys 3, and the bad guy in this movie, they probably should have more than one, because it should be like either coming from two different angles, bad guys, or, you know, the bad guy and then his number two is so dope he's a bad guy on his own. But I think Jamie Foxx should be the bad guy. I see him, a slow motion scene, maybe at a hotel or something, literally not giving a fuck and pulling out twin Desert Eagles or some gold-plated Desert Eagle or some 9s or some 45 something and just letting loose on both Will and Martin. And I like to see that. You know, I really like to see that. I think he'd make a good bad guy, and it would be dope. So, yes, Bad Boys 3. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Do y'all still want to see it? Is it too late? Or do you think it's gonna be fire when it comes out? Or it don't matter either way. Y'all let me know. All right, so we've covered everything that I want to cover. Oh, last topic before we get into the main topic. Late Heat. And this is the portion where I shout out some projects that are not like current, but I feel like they deserve, if you've never heard it, to go back and listen to it for the first time. And if you haven't heard it in a while, go back and listen to it again. Okay, on the rap side, and again, y'all know this is my favorite, but shout out Nas, the Godson album. When I tell y'all that this album, it's just fire. It's a fire album. It's the album after, the famous Stillmatic album, where he's really reflective. He's talking about, rest in peace to his mother. But he was talking about the loss of his mom and seeing her again. One Mic, of course. Is One Mic on there? Oh, I don't know. I want to say One Mic is on there. Let me pull up the listing. Let me get my Googles together, because I don't want y'all to kill me and be like, man, this nigga was putting songs on there that wasn't even on the album. But Nas's Godson album track list. Let me see. Okay, so if I had to say, it definitely had Made You Look on there, fire. I Know I Can. I like that. I think it was uplifting. We needed that. Get Down. Fire. But if I had to even talk about other songs on there that wasn't that are amazing, Zone Out, Hey Nas, which I like, it had Khalees on it, and Claudette Ortiz. Book of Rhymes by The Alchemist produced this. Fire motherfucking song. That's my shit. Thug's Mansion, also wonderful. My favorite song on here is The Last Real Nigga. That is, oh, man. It's just one of my favorite songs. You know what I mean? If you get a chance, The Last Real Nigga is just, y'all have to hear it. I mean, Eminem's on here. So go ahead, definitely check out Nas's Godson album. And you won't be disappointed. I think it's one of those things where after you listen to it, you could be like, yo, this could come out right now and it would be fire. The second that I have on the R&B side, Donnell Jones, Where I Wanna Be. Now, a lot of you millennial niggas and a lot of you, I don't want to say 9, but a lot of you niggas who may have been kids, because I was a kid when this album came out, play this and y'all act like y'all R&B woke for real. Y'all not R&B woke for real. This is a basic necessity album. This is like New Edition. This is like having some R. Kelly. You should have Donnell Jones' album. Where I Want to Be should be in your collection. It came out in 99. It's an amazing album. The whole album is fire. Well, I don't want to say the whole album. I want to say most of the album is fire. Let's go through I Want to Be track list. Just so I'm not crazy, I can tell y'all what's hot. So, Girl, You Know What's Up, fire. Shorty, fire. Where I Want to Be, fire. Have You Seen Her, fire. This Love, I don't really remember right now. All Her Love, fire. I Want to Love You, and When I Was Down. All in all, it's 12 songs on here. The first 1, 2, 3, 4, I can't think of this love right now. 5, it's 7 songs you can play guaranteed, but you can play the whole project all the way through. So shout out to Donnell Jones. And that is Late Heat. So Godson by Nas, Where I Want to Be by Donnell Jones. Check both those projects out. For our final segment, and what this episode is about, Stream Life. And I want to talk about that right after we get to these motherfucking shout-outs. This segment of the show, This Might Be Going Nowhere, the podcast, is brought to you by no one yet. No, we don't like my movie nigga voice. But no, we don't have any sponsors as of yet. But that's cool. People I want to shout out. They could end up potentially becoming sponsors. They're either, supporters of By Any Means 330, BAM 330, the music and our label and the movement we doing. Or, they really support me as a solo artist or whatever. So I want to shout them out. DJ Dale, MHMB Radio. Hit them with the... Yes. Just shout y'all out. Like I said, I want to come down there and I want to get down to Louisiana and just cook up with y'all. See what we can cook up. See if I could do some shows or something. Bring the team with me and we can have... a good time down there. But shout out you. I like how you representing artists and local artists and new artists and from everywhere. Just good music. So I'm gonna definitely be hitting you and the team up soon. Do another interview or something, But y'all make sure y'all check him out. MHMB. That's M as in Mickey Mouse. H Hector. M as in Mickey Mouse. B as in Bravo. I'm pretty sure. But DJ Dale, I follow him on Twitter. He follows me. Y'all can find him. Also, big fucking shout out to Shawnee Culture. Yes. Shout out to Hot 97, but in particular Shawnee Culture. I said when I get on and I come up there, you're the only person who I'd like to interview me. That doesn't mean everybody else can't be present, but you're the person who I'd like to engage in the interview. Shout out to you. I seen the Junior re-interview with the legend. Amazing. It was just gems everywhere, so I fucked with that. I really just like, you that kind of young energy I think that the radio station needs. You kind of a little bit more in tune with some of the stuff that's going on. But at the same time, you give, with your background and your roots, you give a very interesting perspective that I think is needed. I mean, you are black, like core black, not just black, like the island, like everything. Like you are someone who, when you say something, if it's dope and it's hip hop, you're not biased because I know you listen to a lot of different music. So, and you fuck with my music and I appreciate that. So I just wanted to take this time to shout you out, King. I'm glad they starting to feature you more on, the morning show and on Hot 97. And I think they should have, the culture hour, the hour of culture featuring Shawnee Culture. Yo, and if you get that, or the culture corner, whatever y'all go end up coming up with, I would like to be a guest some point on that. I'm throwing that out there now. Shout out WZIP. They fuck with me, I fuck with them. We're still working on right now. It's a couple singles I'd like to get up there in rotation, for Akron's radio station for hip hop and shit. I think that they're fire songs, so I'll definitely be in contact because Demetrius' song Pro featuring myself, fire. Grizz's same shit, which I know we might have a hard time clearing some of that, but that's fire. I really like Broken Heart by Grizz too. That also should be on the radio. Fire. There's several songs by myself. I Am Ty. He has a song coming out. I don't want to say the name of it right now. Oh, you know what? It is on his SoundCloud. Lango, fire, could be on the radio. And I have several songs. Ready for Recess. I'm trying to get Ready for Recess on the radio right now. It's a version that I want with Eddie Vice. So I'll be sending y'all that. But shout out to WZIP. Shout out to Smack Your Mama Chicken. That's in the city. It's local. Had it here. It is very good. I had it for the first time. Very good. Shout out to Arby's 2 to 5 menu. Them orange cream shakes. My God, they got the pepperoni slide. Look, take yourself to Arby's. Treat yourself. I used to never go. I go now. It's a thing. Treat yourself. Shout out to Caps, Angry Fan. My whole battle group, everybody in there, CJ, he invited me into the group, and it's a ton of niggas in there. Classic and Pepe's. It's a lot of them in there who I rock with. Shout out Drew Toledo. I think I'm saying his name right, but shout out all of y'all. But shout out to Tony Bro, Tony Polo, and of course Caps for just keeping the culture going. I appreciate what y'all doing. If you don't know, I'm a fan of battle rap. If you're not a fan of battle rap, you should become a fan of battle rap. I've battle rapped. I love battle rap. If I wasn't, a national Ohio recording artist, I know I said national and then I said Ohio, which is a state, but understand I am from Ohio, from Akron, and I'm a national recording artist. Don't ever play yourself. Treat yourself. Google People's 330, Clash of Titans out now digitally, and new songs from both my upcoming projects that are mixtapes. Feed the People, all original music, Fire, and The Golden Era, where I'm jacking beats from 94 to 2004-ish. Fire. But yes, go ahead, Google me, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, Tidal, everything. Check that out. But yeah, so those are my shout outs right now. And we're going to have a ton more as we progress, and hopefully some of them want to be sponsors. Again, you want to be a sponsor, just make sure you hit me up, People's 330 everywhere, People with a Z, and just let me know, hey, and I'm not trying to make no crazy come up or nothing like that. You know what I mean? If it's a way it could be beneficial for us, even if it's just cross advertising, I'm for that. I'm all for the culture. So on to our last topic. Streaming is life. Stream life. I just want to talk about this. I'm not going to take up too much time with it because, I said that I didn't want the episode to be long. But Spotify, Pandora, Tidal, Netflix, Hulu, they've all changed the way we do stuff. How we process information, how we get it, how we watch it, who we watch it with. Where you used to watch your favorite TV show or movie, you'd be at home with someone, a family member or a loved one or something. Now it may just be somebody who was at work with you on break. You throwing up the Bluetooth speaker, you watching it in the car, y'all, they standing next to you, got it on your phone or your tablet. It changes the way that we even enjoy and who we enjoy things with now. Instead of watching shows, where when the internet was first becoming big and Twitter was, main, and Facebook, not MySpace, but we watch shows and then we talk about them, as we talk about them. But now it's so instant. People are wanting to be, the first person or the second person to talk about this. We're talking about it as it's coming on. We're talking about it as we're watching it, and it's much more interactive now. So I think that even how we watch TV shows and how we listen to music, it's changed. It's also, I think, at the same time, it's a level of intimacy that's grown with streaming, because now you're not necessarily going to go get a CD and you buying a CD, taking it out the plastic, chilling with, your family, your crew, whatever, your niggas, and listening to the music. You more so are listening to it in your iPod, if you still have an iPod. If you listen to your iPhone, if you, lucky enough to have an iPhone, or you're like Shawnee Culture, you got a fucking Android. It changes how you hear it, how you feel about it, maybe how you perceived it. And then with social media, how we listen to music and how we review music is heavily influenced by people on social media. Their hot takes and shit like that. So I think streaming's contribute that. Also, how we buy music, iTunes store. We're not going to stores anymore. You know, we're hardly going to the used stores to buy used CDs anymore. That used to be when I was a kid, that was a big thing. Like, I might not have had $15 for the War and Peace album, or, you know, whatever fucking album. I don't know, Ice Cube's album, whatever album was out. You know what I mean? At that time, the Nellyville album. But I had enough time. I had enough money to get one used. You know, I'm buying a Velvet Rope. I'm seeing new music that way. And now it's all digital. So it's crazy because we were talking about, I was telling some of the homies, and by any means, was talking, and I was saying it's crazy because I remember when we was thinking about CDs, and we like, yo, I wonder after the CD, like, what's next? And I was thinking, like, maybe it'll just be like a diamond or a gem, some sort of crystal, not a diamond, but a crystal, and that'll have all of the music and I was like, no, way off. The data that we load on the CDs, we'll just read the data instead of the CDs now. And, you know, now you Bluetooth speaker in your phone and you can listen to whatever the fuck you want. So I think that's definitely changed how we enjoy things and how we receive it. Also, Fire Sticks and Apple TV, they're replacing cable boxes. If you still have cable, I mean, that's cool for you. That's great. But cable is dead. And I'll be the first to tell y'all, I talked about it before, we don't watch sports much anymore, maybe the Super Bowl, but everything is streamed. I watched all the playoffs streamed. I watched regular games, the highlights. Shout out to Zemo Perito. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but I watched all highlights from basketball, all teams, all games, just that way. And then with the actual games, if I wanted to go on there, you just stream, you know, whoever's streaming live games, you can watch them right on YouTube or Facebook. So TV's there for that. We're getting our news from other places. All of the paid providers of TV, HBO, Showtime, Stars, they all have apps. You can watch it on your phone. So we just really have award shows. I talked about how those are dying. And I guess breaking news shit. But everything really is online now. So Fire Sticks, the Roku sticks, Apple TV, which I use, they've replaced your cable box. I mean, it's pretty much dead. You can now, you know, buy the Sling TV and get the packages, PlayStation TV, all of that. So, you know, how has it changed our lives? I kind of went over that, but I think, again, just how we interact with entertainment, even how we appreciate it. You know, you were always constantly on to the next thing because there was no having to go out to a Walmart, go out to a Best Buy and buy the DVD, the Blu-ray 3D, wait in line. You know, you went out, grab something to eat, all of this, get home and watch it. Now it's just like, oh, I'll pull it up on my phone. I'm going to go to the streaming website, legal or illegal, and I'm going to just watch it that way. So, you know, the whole preparation, and it even makes it, now you want to see the next movie because you not having to go out and get it. You could just watch it right then and there. It makes it that much ready for you to go right into the next one. Ownership. We don't own shit anymore. Now, me, I looked at my iTunes. I got about 26,000 albums on my iTunes. I'm straight. You know what I'm saying? I go somewhere with no Wi-Fi, with my external hard drive. And for those who don't know, I don't fuck around in nerd sheets. External hard drive is what allows you to walk around with an immense amount of data and hook it up to your computer anytime to access it. If I had my external and my MacBook with me, shout out Maxine, I could probably go somewhere for a month without having any internet connection. And I would have TV shows that I've never watched, movies that I've never watched that I have ownership of them. And music I haven't even had a chance to really dive into and I could listen to for at least a month. I'm being generous by saying a month. I really want to say closer to 3, but I know at least a month I have series of TV shows and stuff. But we don't own shit. Everything's streamed. Pay your bill. Becomes your new phone bill is, what am I streaming? I got to pay the Hulu, got to pay the Netflix, got to pay the Spotify. You got like $35, $40. Don't let you have YouTube Red too. We talking about $50 a month just in services that stream you shit that you'll never own. Shows for rent, you know, movies for rent, music for rent. But, you know, that's the way it is now. Data consumption. And like I said, I talked about that. Just how we consume the movies. Just how we consume the information and the facts, everything being streamed and online. We get it different, you know. And here's the last thing I want us to think about. What has streaming killed? It's a lot of businesses that are no longer here because of streaming. And before I said, you know, I would say Redbox killed Blockbusters. They helped. But I got news for Redbox. Y'all getting the fuck out of here too. Y'all better come up with a digital online service. Here's what I'm thinking. Now, this is just my thought, but if I'm right on this prediction, I will be on Twitter and everywhere else. I predict pretty soon Netflix will buy Redbox, and they'll have exclusive movies that they want to have on Netflix that you'll be able to get out of Redboxes. And I think they'll have mostly new movies, but they may throw a couple old classics that they have deals with that people might want to see, or independent movies. They'll start stocking those in some of the machines. But I think Redbox is out of here. But let's think about what's going for real. Blockbusters, you are dead. Dead. I warned you guys. I said you guys should team up with like a Domino's, a pizza service, something where you could get food and movies delivered. Y'all should have had a digital platform. Y'all are out of here. All video rentals really are going. So we can say that. A lot of the game stores dying. We can digitally download and stream games from our system. So a lot of the game stops, we used to have an EB, something. It was Electronic Boutique. It's out of here. GameStop, y'all could be on red alert. I know they cutting the jobs over there. A lot of those services are going. Coconut stores. I know, like, oh, what the fuck is Coconuts? It used to be a store you could get music from, like I can't think of the other one right now, but it's another store. I was supposed to get my CD signed by Leah when I was a kid, before she died. I can't think of the store right now. But it's a lot of stores like that, music stores, FYEs and so forth, that are dead, and they're not coming back because we can get music on our phone when we wake up. We can talk to our little fucking speaker now and ask it to play a song. It's playing a song. We don't need to go to the store to purchase CDs. So CD stores are dead. Movie stores are dead. Movies are still doing well in theaters, but, you know, I'll be curious to see, because a lot of people I speak to, they don't even really go to a movie. Or it's been a while. They go see, you know, the one movie they have to go see is the blockbuster joint. But most times, movies are dead. So streaming has killed a lot. It's killing record labels. It's just killing a lot. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about streaming, about how artists make money off of it. Again, I trap out the bandwidth. Shout out to DJ Academic. But yeah, I don't know. Streaming is very interesting. And what are y'all opinions? Do y'all like it? Y'all hate it? Y'all fuck with it? Y'all don't like the bills? Everybody seems to be doing promotions right now this summer. Tidal, Spotify, all the big, you know, the big companies. So y'all let me know how y'all feel about stream life. Well, that is it. You know, I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. Again, I appreciate y'all taking some time to listen to it. This might be what you listen to on the way to work. This might be what you listen to coming home from work. This might be what you listen to in the trap on your phone. You might not have, you know, Wi-Fi in the trap. You know, I don't know. This might be something you listen to on the road. Shit, this might be going to, you know, Tidal. This could end up at a streaming service. This might be going to Apple Music. You know, this might be going to the Loudspeakers Network. Put that out there again. This might be going nowhere. Peoples 330, Kings and Queens, y'all have a wonderful day, night, evening, afternoon, and I will holler at y'all on the next and third episode of This Might Be Going Nowhere. Bam 330. I'm out.
Baby, you're a pro when you're on the pole. Girl, take off your clothes very, very slow. Walking with them heels on. Baby, you're a turn on. Body looking so good that I wanna feel on. Baby, you're a pro. Baby, you're a pro. Yeah. Walking with them heels on. Baby, on that eagle shit. Pop it, baby, show that we cool with it. Drop it, yeah, make a couple Benji splits. Stop it, freeze frame it for the clip. Standing in line and we get in with ease. I step in the spot, they take pictures of me. I don't need no bottles, I'm still lit off me. HBIC, send it to me. King Peoples, and I'm down with my gang. Who's that? Oh, that's the bam. King Peoples, and I'm down with my gang. Who's that? Oh, that's the bam. King Peoples, and I'm down with my gang. Who's that? Oh, that's the bam.